If you have a newborn right now and you are so freaking tired that you're starting to wonder how you're supposed to keep doing this every single day for the next several months, this video is for you. I'm going to give you some really practical things that you can start doing today to help your newborn sleep better without expecting your tiny baby to magically sleep through the night. Because I just want to be honest with you, regardless of what you have seen on the internet from those like magic babies that are sleeping through the night at 2 weeks, that really does not happen yet. So real quick, before we dive in, this video is not for the mom who's still pregnant, doing her research 6 months out, building her little Pinterest board full of nursery ideas. If that's you, that's amazing, but this one is not for you today because by the time you get to the point where you need this video, you're not going to remember all of these things. So definitely save this and come back to it once your little baby is here. This is for the mom who is in the trenches right now. The one who is currently living the sleep deprivation, the one doing the math in her head. Okay, if I feed it 2 and it takes 45 minutes and she's back down by 3 and the next feed is at 5, that's not even 2 hours. You know exactly the math that I'm talking about. You're counting minutes instead of hours at this point, and you're wondering if your body even remembers what more than 2 hours of sleep at a time feels like. I want you to know, I see you. I've been doing this for a long time. We have worked with over 5,000 families in the last 12 years, and I've had my own newborns, 3 of them, and I have lived this exact 3 a.m. moment that you are in right now, not just myself, but with so many families. And what I'm about to walk you through are the foundational newborn sleep strategies that I come back to family after family again and again because they actually work and because they are realistic for where you are right now. So before we get to it, I want to set some clear expectations because I don't want you finishing this video and feeling like a failure if your baby isn't a totally different baby by tomorrow morning. So let's get very clear on what this video is not. This is not about sleep training a newborn. We do not sleep train newborns. They are not developmentally ready for that at all at this point. This is not about forcing your baby into some rigid by-the-clock schedule. Newborns do not operate on schedules yet. They operate on patterns, and there is a big difference. And this is not about expecting your baby to sleep independently all day and all night at this age. That milestone is coming, I promise. It'll be here before you know it, but it is not today's job. So if that's not the goal, then what is the goal? The goal is making sleep progressively easier and more sustainable for your baby, yes, but also for you. Because you matter in this equation just as much as that little baby. And a lot of newborn sleep advice that is out there completely forgets that there is an exhausted human being attached to this baby who also needs to function to keep taking care of this little baby. So here's what I'm going to walk you through today. How to get your days and nights headed in the right direction, how to help your baby get some practice sleeping in their own space, at least some of the time, and how to know when and how to actually step in when your baby starts stirring versus when you should just wait. So let's start with the easiest changes that you can make immediately, like literally today. Number 1, we need to get the foundations working for you and your baby. First up, we're going to talk about the swaddle. If you are not swaddling your newborn yet, I want you to start next nap. Here is why it matters so much. Your baby spent 9 months in a tight, snug, contained little space. That swaddle mimics that. It also helps contain something called the Moro reflex or the startle reflex. That is where your baby's arms just like fly up out of nowhere and it jolts them right awake right whenever they are just starting to fall asleep. You have definitely seen this by now. You know what I'm talking about, and you have probably watched it happen right at the worst possible moment. Whenever you just got your baby to sleep, you're putting them in their crib and then all of a sudden their arms flail. Now, here's where I want to slow down because this is where I see so many exhausted parents go wrong. Baby gets swaddled, baby fusses a little bit, maybe a little bit more than normal, and the parent immediately thinks, okay, my baby hates the swaddle, we're done with this. And I get it because again, I've been there. When you're running on no sleep, you don't have the bandwidth to troubleshoot, and every single moment where your baby is fussing translates automatically to a sign in your head where you're thinking they must just hate this. But 9 times out of 10, babies don't hate swaddles. They're fussy because of a million other reasons. They're overtired or hungry or overstimulated from the day. And the swaddle just happens to be the thing that they're wrapped in when that fussiness shows up. It's getting blamed for something it didn't actually cause. So before you write off swaddling completely, please, please, please give it a real fair shot. Feed first, make sure they're not gassy, make sure the room temperature is right, and then swaddle and see what happens. And obviously, always swaddle safely, arms in snug, hips loose so they can move like a little frog. And baby always, always, always on their back to sleep. One thing that you can try here is just testing out a couple of different swaddles. And this doesn't mean go out and buy 100 different versions, but you might want to try a couple of different options. There are several different styles of swaddles, and some babies do end up loving a certain kind better than a different kind. I would start with 2 different options. My favorites that I always recommend are either the Ollie, which is going to be the traditional arms down, tight around the shoulders. And the second one is the Love to Dream Swaddle Up. And this one is going to allow your baby to have their arms up like this. My babies, actually all 3 of them, loved that position. It still calms the Moro reflex and allows them to get the benefits of the swaddle, but it allows them to be in a position that for some babies is just more comfortable. So I would try those 2 in the beginning. See which one your baby seems to like better or just hates it less than the other one, and then move forward with that one and don't look back. There's no reason to like swap back and forth all the time or try a million different things. Just try a couple and then decide which one is going to work best for you and move on. Okay, next, foundation. Let's fix that day and night confusion. This happens with almost every single newborn, and this one is a game changer and it costs you literally nothing. So here is the thing that nobody tells you clearly enough. Your baby does not know the difference between 2 in the afternoon and 2 in the morning unless you help them know that difference. Their circadian rhythm has not developed yet. It's something we have to actively teach their little body over the coming weeks. So here's how you do it. During the day, we're going to keep things super bright and alive. You're going to open up the blinds and the curtains, let the sunshine in, keep your normal household activities and noise going. The dishwasher running, the TV on low, people talking. Don't tiptoe around daytime naps like you're trying to defuse a bomb. Let your baby get used to sleeping through normal daytime life. And then at night, we're gonna flip it completely. It's dark, it's quiet. It is the most boring thing your baby has ever experienced in their life. And I mean boring on purpose. When you do a nighttime feed, keep the lights dim, keep your voice low, don't make eye contact and start chatting like it's playtime. Don't change a diaper unless you need to. You are essentially sending your baby the message over and over and over again that nothing interesting happens right now. Go back to sleep. It feels tedious, and I promise you it works. It is teaching their internal clock the difference between day and night, one boring, unglamorous 3 a.m. feed at a time. And the third foundation here is to start creating some predictable sleep cues. So I want to be super clear. This is not a schedule. I'm not asking you to have your baby down at exactly 7:15 every single night with a stopwatch. What I'm telling you to do is small, repeatable routines that your baby's brain can start to recognize. So before naps, come up with a short little sequence of events. Maybe it is a diaper change, then into the swaddle, and then a quick song, and then into the bassinet. Same 3 or 4 steps that we repeat every single time. Before bedtime, same idea, just maybe a little bit more in depth. Bath, lotion, pajamas, feed, into the crib. The content of it matters way less than the repetition of it. Your baby's brain starts to go, oh, I know these steps. I know what's coming after this. And that predictability is genuinely soothing for a newborn nervous system. And it's also helpful for you to know what's coming and to have a routine for yourself as well. Then once your baby is about 6 weeks old, you can start anchoring things a little bit more consistent, like a consistent bedtime within a 30 to 45 minute window, a consistent wake up time in the morning. Everything in between during the day can be a little bit flexible and loosey-goosey, because we are just building two anchor points on either end of the day to help us kind of solidify things and set things in place. Now, I want to pause here because I know exactly what is happening for so many of you watching this. You are exhausted, you're overwhelmed, and you just got three things thrown at you, and your brain is going, okay, but how and in what order? And what if I mess it up? And that right there is why we built our complete newborn sleep course. It is not a giant overwhelming binder of everything possible whenever it comes to sleep tips. It is literally everything I just walked you through, plus a bunch more, laid out for you step by step in order. So you're not lying awake at 2 a.m. trying to piece it together from 15 different Instagram reels that all contradict each other. It's normally $77, but because you're here watching this video, you can grab it for $50 using the link in the description. If you want my exact newborn sleep approach handed to you instead of assembled by you, that is what it is here for. You can grab it in the description. Let's move on to the second section, where we are going to practice the bassinet or crib without making yourself lose your mind. So your baby might have a bassinet or a crib or like some co-sleeper attachment, whatever your baby's independent sleep space actually is. Here is my goal for you, and I promise it is smaller than you're probably thinking. Let's choose at least one nap a day to allow your baby to practice sleeping in that independent sleep space. One nap. That is genuinely the whole ask right now. Not every nap, not all day, one. The rest of the naps can continue to be contact naps. And I know that that is something that is sitting in the back of a lot of your minds right now because I hear it from parents constantly. Does this mean I have to stop contact naps? No, absolutely not. Let me say that as clearly as I can. You do not have to eliminate contact naps to build healthy sleep foundations for your baby. Contact naps and independent sleep space practice can completely coexist in the same day, the same week, and the same life. If you love holding your baby for half of their naps because it's your favorite part of the day, because you know this season is short, because it's genuinely the only way anyone in the house is getting any rest right now, that is absolutely fine. This is not an all or nothing situation, and I never want you to feel like snuggling your newborn is somehow sabotaging their sleep, because it is not. This is about building a skill over time, not passing a test today. Now, when you are working on that bassinet nap, I want to teach you a tool called Shush Pat. It is pretty much exactly like what it sounds like, a rhythmic pat on your baby's back or bottom, paired with a steady shushing sound right at their ear. And what this does is it helps your baby settle or resettle without you immediately scooping them straight up out of the bassinet the second they make a noise. Now, obviously, your baby is going on their back to sleep. So like, how are we going to pat their back or their bottom whenever they are on their back to sleep? What we normally recommend doing is if they are already in their bassinet or crib, just gently, put your hand under their back, tilt them to their side, and then you'll do the patting like this. You can hold them. Make sure my hands are seen. You can hold them like this with one hand in their front and one hand on their back just to keep them steady in that position. You pat them like this, and then whenever they have settled, you just gently take your hands off and let them gently roll back over onto their back. So Shush Pat is not a magic wand. I want to be honest with you about that, but it is a genuinely useful in-between tool, something you can reach for in that gray zone where baby is stirring, maybe they're fussing a little bit, maybe they're right on the edge of resettling or fully waking up and you want to give them a little bit of support without restarting the entire feed, rock, shush cycle from the beginning every single time. Now, number 3, stop jumping in at every single wiggle. So I really want you to sit with this one because I think that this might be the most important thing in this entire video. Newborns are loud, dramatic sleepers. The grunting, the wiggling, the little squeaky cries, the full body writhing around that makes it look like they're having the worst nightmare of their life. None of that automatically means I'm awake and I need you right now. A huge amount of what you're hearing and seeing is something called active sleep. And it is completely normal, and it is a biologically expected sleep state for newborns. And once you know what you're looking at, it's kind of hilarious how dramatic they can be while being completely soundly asleep the entire time. So here is a video of my daughter that I found whenever she was in the newborn stage, where I was videoing her because she was so freaking adorable, making all of these little noises. And so I just want to give you an example of what that active sleep actually looks like so that you can know what to expect or recognize it because you've probably already seen it. So here's what I want you to start practicing. Simply pause before you respond. Literally just a few seconds, maybe a minute. Look before you grab your baby. Actually watch them for a minute. Are their eyes moving under their lids? Is the fussing rhythmic and then settling back down on its own? Or is it escalating, getting more urgent, turning into a real cry? Give it a little bit of time before you decide. Because here is what that small pause actually does, and it's doing double duty. First, it gives your baby the genuine opportunity to resettle themselves without any intervention at all, which is a skill that they need to start building. Not now necessarily, but it helps with that eventuality of it. And second, it gives you the chance to start learning your baby's cues and specific sounds. Every baby is different. You are going to start recognizing the difference between the I'm working through active sleep grunt and the I'm just stirring, but I'll settle fuss, and the actual I am hungry and I need you right now cry. That skill of reading your baby instead of just reflexively reacting to every single sound that they make is going to serve you for months, not just right now. It is honestly one of the biggest confidence builders that I see happen for parents once it clicks. Okay, so let's bring it all the way back to you because I know that you came into this video exhausted and I don't want to leave you feeling like you have now 5 different things that you have to be perfect at. The goal here was never ever a newborn who suddenly sleeps perfectly through the night after watching one YouTube video. That is not realistic. It's not developmentally appropriate. And I do not want you chasing that. The goal is so much smaller and so much more doable than that. The goal is to stack small things one at a time that make sleep a little bit easier for you and your family. Swaddle them and give it a real chance of working before you write it off. Help their little bodies start learning the difference between day and night, one boring nighttime feed at a time. Practice one nap a day in their independent sleep space while still embracing contact naps whenever you want them. Those two things are not in competition with each other. Use tools like Shush Pat whenever you need a little bit of extra support before assuming every single noise means they're awake and that they need you. And the last thing I want to leave you with, you do not have to do every single one of these things perfectly for your newborn to start making progress. You do not need a perfect score. You just need to start, pick one thing from this video and try it today. Now, if your baby is waking up every 2 hours or more overnight to feed and you're not sure whether they're actually hungry or if something else entirely is going on, that is exactly what I'm covering in the next video that I want you to watch. I will walk you through exactly how to tell the difference and what to actually do about it. So go watch that one next and I will see you there. And again, if you are interested in grabbing our newborn course for just $50, grab the link in the description. And I'm super excited for you to check it out. All right, I will see you here next time.